If you've ever felt like parts of you had to stay hidden, like only the polished version of you was allowed to exist in the world, I want to show you something that cracks that illusion using a kid's cartoon. Even if you've seen it, you probably haven't noticed what it's really showing about inheritance patterns. Patterns that most people spend their entire lives running without ever naming. My niece is obsessed with the Netflix show K-pop Demon Hunters. And for those who haven't seen it, it's about a girl named Rumi, half demon hunter, and an orphan raised by another demon hunter. She's learning how to navigate a world that constantly tells her parts of her are wrong, dangerous, or need to be hidden. Specifically, her patterns or demon markings. At first glance, the story seems simple enough. Yet it holds up a mirror using visible patterns to hint at something much deeper about the parts of ourselves we've learned to hide. What I saw in that mirror, Rumi's demon markings are a glowing signal of the inherited patterns, beliefs, and expectations from our environment that imprint on our subconscious, shape our self-concept, and influence aspects of our lives countless ways. These are choices, fears, and lessons passed down from generation to generation. She didn't choose who she is or her parents, but she's taught to hide half of her identity through fear and shame. When we hide parts of ourselves, the cost is the same: exhaustion, not feeling like we're enough, and loss of our true voice in the world. Seeing this in a story designed for kids made me realize something profound. This quiet struggle, authenticity versus acceptance, is universal. We're taught that these patterns are the enemy, but the real enemy is lies and stories that feed into our self-criticism and insecurities that turn these patterns into a script that limits our life. I picked up on this because I recently decided to face my own patterns directly. Like many, I was running on a hidden autopilot for decades, overworking, hiding parts of me that I was ashamed of, and for years, I thought this was survival. So, I decided to put myself through one of my coaching intensives as a client. And the breakthrough didn't come from pushing myself harder, but instead, it came through slowing down and the radical honesty of seeing the parts of me clearly, giving them space to exist without judgment. I realized the parts that I've been trying to fix weren't actually broken. They were shut off and compartmentalized, waiting to be understood and integrated. Patterns like that don't break with rationality alone. Just like Rumi, my deliverance arrived when I stopped minimizing, justifying. I saw my patterns and the conditioning behind them. That clarity allowed me to upgrade and integrate them. Rumi doesn't defeat the demon king, Guima, by fighting him alone. She empowered herself by taking his power away to shame her through complete honesty and self-acceptance, to show up authentically, which is more powerful than curated perfection. When we shift the neural pathways running the perfection program through fear, we allow our mind, body, and nervous system to settle and give ourselves permission to exist as we are. So this cartoon isn't some feel-good therapy. Researchers call it multi-generational trauma transmission. Patterns, beliefs, and survival strategies get passed down through families, almost like inherited code. In the US, our great-grandparents survived the Depression by hoarding. Grandmother learned scarcity was dangerous. And your mother or father learned to work twice as hard just to stay safe. And you inherited the belief that resting or slowing down equals risk. Here's what shocked me. Clearing these patterns didn't just bring relief. My brain came back online. I regained cognitive function I haven't had since grad school. And it proves something I've always believed since before I was a therapist: that trauma doesn't make you stronger. It just makes everything in life harder when you don't address it head on. So, how do you break these inherited patterns? Here's the framework that I used. Step 1, identify the inherited belief. Ask yourself, what story about survival, love, or worth did you learn that isn't actually yours? For Rumi, it was, I am fundamentally flawed. For me, it was, the world is dangerous and doesn't owe you anything. You have to be excellent and relentless in order to survive. Step 2, trace the lineage. Where did this come from? What was happening in your family system when this belief became necessary? Usually, it was a survival strategy that worked for someone else in a different time. Step 3, honor the protection. Recognize this pattern served a purpose and thank it. Rumi's hiding protected her from rejection. My perfectionism and relentless drive protected me from imagined catastrophe. Step 4, choose integration over elimination. You don't erase the demon parts, you integrate them. Rumi doesn't become fully human. She becomes completely herself, demon and hunter, which is the source of her strength. Step 5, let the jagged edges meet the light. Stop performing an acceptable version of yourself. Begin to understand yourself as a whole person. Learn how you can show up authentically and find the power and advantages in that. Your real voice returns when you stop hiding parts of yourself. The soft, jagged edge you've learned to hide, that's not a flaw. That's where your power lives. The people meant for you will see all of it, the polished and the raw, the demoned and hunter, and recognize you as a whole. The rest were never your people. Now, this work isn't a one-time epiphany. It's practice. The patterns don't completely disappear. They integrate. And every time you catch yourself performing instead of being, you have a choice. Compartmentalize again, or let the truth surface. The next time you notice yourself hiding a part of who you are, ask, what is this pattern protecting me from? That question is your entry point. Sometimes the most profound healing shows up in the most unexpected place. Even a kid's cartoon.